Alright everybody, we're going to be looking at the sound tab today. It is over here in the top left. It says sound. Now first things first, let's get ourselves a control block. Is right here. It says control. And I'm going to choose the when space key is pressed. Alright, so let's go back to sound. Alright, so our first block is the play sound block. And if we click on the down arrow here, we see we don't have any sounds. So that means we need to import them, bring them in from an outside source. So two ways we can do this is the first is if you are online, if you are currently connected to the internet, then what you would do, I am not, by the way, right now. So be a little, we'll be able to show you fully, but it's fine, it's fine. All you need to do is go right up here, top left here, with the little paper with a little fold in it. Click that once, left click, and go all the way to the bottom. If you move your mouse all the way to the bottom, you'll see where it says sounds. It says select a sound from the media library. If you click that, if you're online and you click that, it will bring up a list of sounds you can pick. And if you do that, then you'll have. If you do that, then you will be able to click on this little down arrow here, and that sound you selected will be available. Now, another way to do this is you can download sounds off the internet, or you can use a audio recording software and create your own sounds or voice or whatever. And so let's pretend we've already made a sound, or we have a sound. You would go to the Sounds tab right here. Left click that. It says import a sound from your computer by dragging it into here. So how we're going to do that is first we need to make our screen size a little smaller. So you can do that by clicking this right up here, the maximize button, and then find wherever your sound is. I have a sound right here on my desktop. It's called 6.mp3. I do not believe the name, the file type. This is an MP3. I don't think it matters what it is, but I know for a fact that an MP3 file does work. So how we are going to do this is we're going to left click this sound once, just one time, click and hold the left click and drag it. Don't let go of the left click. Alright, so when we have our sound file here, we can let go of the left click mouse, and when we do that, now we see that we have a sound. And if you click play, I don't know if you can hear that, but it played a noise. Alright, so now we have a sound to work with. So I'm going to go back to my scripts tab. And now if we look at our play sound block, if we click the little down arrow right here, we see that our sound file that we imported, it's called 6, is right there. So if we click that, and now if we connect our play sound block to the when space key is pressed, now when I press the space key, we see that a sound plays. Alright, so to get rid of a block, if you don't want it, left click, hold the left click, and drag it all the way over here, and then let go of the left mouse button, and it'll delete it. So our next block is the play sound blank until done. And we see that it has the down arrow again. So we click 6, and we play it. So what that means is, what until done means is your program. It will play this noise until the program is done. This program is very short, as you can see. The only thing it does do is play the sound. But if you had other stuff in this program, let's say, I'm just making stuff up here, but let's pretend you have a program that it takes a minute to run and finish, then I'm pretty sure this sound will keep playing until that program is done. Alright, so our next block is the stop all sounds block, and you can probably imagine what that does. If you have a program that is set up to play sounds, and you would like that sound or sounds, all the sounds, to stop at a certain point, then you would insert this in your code. Let's pretend right here you have a bunch of code and sounds are playing and whatnot, and then when you get to this point you want them to stop. Well, you just plug it in right there and then your sounds would stop. Alright, our next one is rest for 0.2 beats. So I'm going to get our sound file again. And then if I connect this one, you can't really tell, I guess, because the sound file is so short. Well, there we go. Alright, so the rest for 0.2 beats, if that is first, all that means is your sound will not play until 0.2 beats have passed. So we can change that if we click right here in the little white circle-y area and we delete that. Let's say 1 beat. If we hit play, you notice how it took a lot longer. So like we could hit 2 beats. It took even longer. So if you'll notice when I press spacebar how there's like a glow around, when your stuff is glowing, that means it is actually running. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of the rest for 2 beat block. Drag it over here, delete it. Alright, our next block is play note 60 for 0.5 beats. Now I'm not a music major or anything, but if you are, you probably know what all this means. So I'm assuming it's going to play the 60 notes? Ah, okay, so it makes its own noise, so I think we can just get rid of this. Alright, so that makes a note. So if we change this, let's say to 5, you can't hear it. So let's try 200. Ah, that was very high pitched. So let's say 50. I don't know if you can hear that, but when I'm changing the numbers, it is making the sounds like the pitch. It's increasing or decreasing the pitch of the sound, or making it sound like that. All right. So our next is change tempo by 20. So I do believe we need a sound file for this one. So let's get our play sound block that can be found right here, and let's choose in the drop down menu our sound, our number 6. Alright, so I'm going to attach this. I'm going to play it as normal. Alright, now I'm going to attach the change tempo by 20 block, and I'm going to attach the play sound block right below it. Now let's play that and see what we hear. Sounds the same, so let's change our 20. So just click in the white box here, hit backspace, let's say 100. Let's see what happens. Sounds the same, so let's see if we switch up the block, see what happens. Same thing. Alright, let's go crazy, see if we can get some results. Let's try 500. It still sounds the same. Well, or let's try 2. Alright, so I guess it's not really working with this sound file, but at least the blocks are very describe themselves pretty well. Ooh, so here we go. How I just did this is I clicked the tempo next to the or I click the little square next to the tempo, and it is showing us the tempo of our current sound, which is 4,166. If I change, let's see what happens if we change this block. Let's change it by 4. We notice that the tempo did change. So even though we can't hear it, that does not mean that, you know, nothing's happening. and we can use this right here to see that. So what is 4,170 plus 30? Well, it should be 4,200, so let's put 30. We look right here, and let's run the program, and we see that now our tempo is steadily getting higher. And since this is such a high-pitched sound anyways, we probably won't really be able to hear it. Alright, our next and last block is the set tempo to 60, I guess that's beats per minute? So let's see what happens there. Okay, so all that does is it, instead of the previous block, the change tempo block, that would change it. This one sets it. So instead of it going up 60, it just sets it to 60. It doesn't add or take away, it just sets. So if we put 500, we notice that now our tempo is set at 500. Alright, so that is the sound tab.